How's your offseason been?
It's been good. I feel like we put in a lot of good work this offseason. It started April 1st, and we had a great commitment by the team for showing up and getting after it. I love the direction that we're heading and really excited to get things going in a couple months.
What are your early impressions here of Coach Harbaugh?
He's a competitor. He's done such a great job taking this team and getting them to where he wants them to go. He's won wherever he's at. He's a guy that everyone wants to follow and play for. So we're really excited to get to play for him.
How's it different learning from a guy who's been in your shoes before at this level?
Yeah, I think it's really cool. For him to come into the quarterback room and share his thoughts, it's great perspective. He's done it and has coached and played at such a high level for so long that any advice like that is awesome. It's great for us, and we get to learn from him and Greg Roman and Shane Day and Mark Trestman, Marcus Brady, all these guys that have had such a major impact on the game that it's really good for us.
Just Justin, it felt like you needed to step up as much as a leader this year with guys like Keenan, Mike, and Austin gone. Have you thought about assuming that leadership role a little bit more this year?
I think it's always important for the quarterback. So it's definitely something that we're always trying to build on, and I think we've got a great group of guys in there. So we're definitely going in the right direction.
You obviously have really close relationships with Keenan and Mike. Been talked to you since obviously Mike was released and Keenan was traded. Just your reaction to that happening when it went down.
Yeah, they're two of the best to ever do it, and two great teammates, friends, competitors, and it's tough to replace guys like that just because there's not many like them. But I feel really comfortable with the group that we have here, that they've stepped up, they've done a great job picking up this offense, going out there and competing. And I know we don't have pads on or anything like that, but I love the way that they attack the day, practice, weights, film. That receiver group is special, and I'm looking forward to throwing them the ball. And obviously tough losing two friends like Mike and Keenan, but I wish them the absolute best no matter where they go. I'll always be a fan of them.
Justin, can you go back to when you found out that Shane Day was going to come back and be your quarterback coach again? What has that feeling been like, and what has it been like? Does it feel like riding a bike, being back with him after kind of a year of not being together?
Yeah, he's an incredible coach. He's done such a great job for this quarterback room, and the relationship that he has with Easton and I, and now with Max and Casey, he's done a great job of just picking up and moving right where we left off. Obviously tough losing him for a year, but when the question came up of who I thought best was for that position, Shane was the number one guy, and really glad to be working with him again.
Justin, what is your impression of the new offense?
Sorry, what was that?
Your impression of the new offense, new system.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. Greg has done a great job of installing it, talking it, and demonstrating exactly what he sees from the offense. And it's definitely a complex, difficult offense to learn, but those guys have showed up every day, and we've done our best to pick it up. And a lot has been thrown at us, especially in these past couple of months. But the way that people have attacked it and picked it up, looking forward to running it.
What makes it complex? Is it just the quantity of stuff, or is there more layers to it?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we talked about this offseason, of just being able to throw everything in there and just applying coats of paint and understanding that, we might not all pick it up exactly the first time, but we're going to go through and we're going to rep it again. And making sure that we put everything in this offseason so that when we get to camp, we've at least seen it, we're familiar with it, and we're able to move up with it.
We've heard a lot about how they want to be a run-first offense. How do you view that as a quarterback? Do you like to maybe have some of that pressure off you, or do you know, hey, there are times where I'm going to have to throw the ball?
Well, selfishly, as a quarterback, I'd love to throw the ball every time. But if we throw it one time or we throw it 100 times, as long as we're winning and find a way to do that, it's good with me.
We had Greg Roman yesterday say that running the ball is effective, and so is the illusion of running the ball. So as you talk about a complex offense, do you get the sense that this is more amoeba-like, and it's not necessarily what maybe a lot of us are thinking, that you're going to run the ball 30 times and throw it 10?
Yeah, I think that's up to him for him to decide that. But the way that we've installed everything, we want to be able to do everything. We want to look at, hey, this is how we see ourselves, and this is what we've got. And you want to play to your strengths. And we've got some really good receivers, great running backs, and awesome offensive line. And so Greg has done a great job of just figuring out, hey, this is how he sees us, this is how we're going to attack it, and being flexible and understanding that, one game maybe we throw the ball 30 times, or maybe one game we throw it 15 times. As long as we're finding a way to win and being able to do both, I think we'll be a talented and successful team.
About 50 times. Do you see that in the cards?
70 times, yeah, 80 times is the more the better.
What's it like rocking the? I'll go ahead, Tyler.
What's it been like building chemistry with a fairly young and inexperienced receiver group, and even tight end group?
Yeah, you could guess that it could be difficult, but it hasn't been at all. These guys have been awesome. They've picked up everything, even the draft picks, Brendan, Cornelius and Ladd. They've done such a great job of just getting involved with the offense, being out there and learning from those guys, and having a guy like DJ, Josh, and now Q and Dede, they're vets too. So they're showing them the way, and we're all learning. It's a new offense, but the way that everyone's attacked it, it's been really good to see from those guys.
With Ladd, it seems like he's the type of player that would fit your game pretty well, just his route running and sort of his understanding of leverages and stuff. How has your relationship and rapport with him developed here early on?
Yeah, he's been awesome. He's one of those guys, like I mentioned, he's just picked up the offense so easily. It's like he's been a 4 or 5 year vet. He understands the game, he understands leverage, like you said. He's a smart player, and he's very athletic. He's one of those guys that is able to beat man coverage, find the soft spot in zones. And so I'm really looking forward to getting him the ball.
How do you like wearing the gold jersey? Jim said you haven't liked it much and you're trying to escape it.
I asked him on the first day if the other quarterbacks could wear one as well, but he said it was his rule, and so if it's his rule, I'm following it, and it doesn't matter what color it is, I'll wear it, and as long as I got a jersey.
What was you saw you went to the Zach Bryan concert, or you were singing on stage? Have you done something like that before?
That was the first time, yeah.
How was that? How did you feel like you did?
I wasn't really judging my performance. I think I was just more so just having a good time, enjoying some camaraderie with your teammates. Had a bunch of offensive lines and receivers, so it was cool to be able to share that experience with them and have some fun.
You didn't pour over the tape from it?
No, I actually did not. I stayed away from that. Was just focused on the next day of practice and just getting ready for the golf tournament that was the following day.
Were you nervous at all?
No, there's no nerves up there. You get up there and it's just like playing a football game. It just happens to be a concert.
I talked to the Cooper Cup last week at OTAs, and he was saying how nervous he was. Did you notice that with him up there with you?
No, he seemed like he was just going up there, and it was just another day for him. Yeah, he was awesome, Puka, and it's awesome getting to talk with those guys, and we see him on the field all the time, so you never really get to see him outside like that, but both awesome guys, have a ton of respect for them.
Luke
What's
Combs
it
is
been
coming.
like working with Sanjay Lal, Mark Tressman? You've got some pretty good passing minds in there trying to come up with this passing game.
For sure. That's kind of what I touched on a little bit earlier, too, is they've had so much success in this league that you're around them and you're going to pick something up from them. To have a guy like Sanjay, Mark, Marcus Brady as well, all these different voices and all these different guys who have been at different branches, different offenses, the more football you can be around, the better. You're going to learn more. And to have guys like that on our offense, on our staff, it's only going to help us.
You mentioned the awesome offensive line. I'll get some familiar faces, but some new ones. I guess what's your take on Bradley and then Trey going inside and then obviously drafting Joe?
Yeah, Bose has been awesome. He's one of those guys that has just stepped in immediately, and he's been well received by the offensive line. He fits in great with them, and he's smart, very smart, and he's athletic. And if you're able to have that combination, you're going to be a pretty good offensive lineman. And the addition of Joe, he's been awesome as well. He fits right in, and I think he's one of those guys that's just so talented and so smart, and he's done a great job of just picking up the offense, asking questions, and having two guys like Pip and Rashawn who've had a ton of success in this league, learning as much as they can from him.
I think Trey had done moving inside.
Yeah, Pip has been awesome. He's done such a great job of just picking it up, and whether it's guard, whether it's tackle, you can rely on him to be whatever we need him to be. He's done such a great job of that, and especially in the weight room as well. Coach has been talking about that with him and his commitment, his leadership, the guy he is in the locker room. We're glad to have guys like him on the team.
Every year you've kind of had a new tight end one come through, and now that room's sort of changed again. What can you say about the addition of Disley and Hurst and what that room looks like now for you?
Yeah, I think it's a great room. To keep guys like Stone and Parm, and then to add them up with Will and Hayden, they're two of the best in the league, and they're great leaders, teammates, and tight ends especially. And to have guys like that in the locker room, I think it's only going to help because you can know you're going to game day and you can rely on those guys. And they're smart, they're athletic, and they're playmakers. And they're able to run, block, and do all the things that you ask of a tight end. So it only helps us to have guys like that.
Coach Bischoff said that there's maybe 3 guys in the league that can block the C like this they can. It seems like that's something we've not seen around here in a while. So what kind of difference does that make for you when you have a tight end that has that skill set?
Yeah, it's impressive. Just to watch him move, and he's not just a run blocker. He's able to catch the ball pretty well as well. So to have a guy like that, it just opens up avenues on the offense. Whether you're running the ball or whether you're having the illusion of running the ball or whether you're throwing the ball, you have a tight end out there that they have to respect. And to have a guy like him and Hayden as well, Stone and Parham have made great strides this past year as well. So to have 4 guys like that, it's a quarterback's best friend.
Just in one room that's kind of changed is the running back room. You have Gus Edwards, J.K. Dobbins. Just what's your experience been like with those guys, and how's your relationship kind of grown with those guys?
Yeah, they've been awesome. The addition of both of those guys, they're going to be fun to hand the ball off to. And kind of like I mentioned earlier, we don't have pads on, so you can't really feel the impact of the run game right now. But you can feel the juice. They've got energy, they bring it, and be able to hand the ball off to them and them go fight for a couple yards. It'll be awesome to see.
Because this year is so different with the new staff and a lot of new playmakers on offense, for you, how much can you actually get done during the OTAs and mini camps that you want to get done? Before it's like, hey, it's all the same family. Now there's so many new faces. How much can you actually get done that you feel like you'll be ready for regular camp?
I feel like we've got a lot done. We like I mentioned earlier, we put the offense in very early, where we put everything in, and it was a lot of information for guys really early on. But for them to keep fighting through it, to pick it up, and to now be on the other side of, hey, we feel pretty comfortable with this offense, understand it, we're familiar with it. Heading into this month of off time, keep throwing, keep being with those receivers, get everything timed up, so that when we do hit fall camp, we're ready for that.
You guys going to be hanging out together, throwing more balls at the park or whatever?
We'll find a place, whether it's the park, whether it's a parking lot, or whether it's out here. We'll get it done.
You had so many different coordinators and offenses you had to pick up and seemingly not missing the beat. Coach Roman kind of joked yesterday you might have an eidetic memory. Is there anything to that? Do you have something kind of photographed?
I wish. No, I don't. I think I've just done a good job of getting in the playbook and understanding that, as a quarterback, you have to understand the ins and outs of the offense. You have to know every role. You have to know it all. And if the receivers, tight ends, O-linemen come to you and have a question, it's either here's the answer or I'll go find the answer for you. I don't know it yet, but I will. But to have a guy like Greg Roman teaching the offense, Shane Day, Mark Tressman, that quarterback group, they've made it really easy on me, and they've done such a great job supporting me that I have felt comfortable picking it up and learning this offense.
How much say do you have in terms of, when the offense being installed, if you like something a certain way, or to change it, or to, have a conversation about the stuff you guys are running?
Yeah, I think everyone on the staff has been very flexible with it. If there is something that I would prefer to do or prefer not to do, I feel comfortable sharing with them. I haven't yet. There hasn't been anything that I've said, let's not do this or that, because I've enjoyed everything that we've put in through the offense this time, and looking forward to it. And I'm sure that as a unit, we're working together, we're collective. So there's no fear about that.
You always had the power to be able to do that since you've been in the league, or has that developed over time?
Yeah, I think that's one of those things that you pick up over time, of just being out there, experience, and seeing offenses and seeing defenses, learning the game and really being able to step up and know what you do like and what you don't like. But I think it just comes with time.
Your finger, was that were you healed by the end of when was your finger back to normal after last season?
Maybe late February, early March.
So in terms of the offense, you said you threw everything in early. You feel like you've gone over it 2-3 times now through OTAs and mini camps? Just how much?
Yeah, we have. I would have to take a look at exactly the installs. I think it's been 3 times. I think we go through a stretch of the first coat, second coat, and then this past week we go through each individual install. So I think we have gone through it 3 times, and definitely a lot of information, but the way the guys picked it up, I think it's been impressive.
You've had to learn so many new offenses in your career. There's only been 1 season where you've actually had an offense carry over from year to year. So how having to do that basically every year, are you now very comfortable when you are given a new playbook that you have to learn? Does it get easier each time you have to do it, or not?
That's a good question. I would say that it's a good opportunity to learn more football, because I think at the end of the day, a lot of the concepts are similar. They're just called something else. And so being able to translate it, and I think that's where Easton's been very helpful as well, is what we called it last year or what we called it a couple years ago, it's called something else now. And so the identity of the offense, they vary with offensive coordinator, but understanding that the concepts, and if it's still cover 3, these are the beaters. If it's cover 2, these are the beaters. This is what you want to run. That part of football doesn't change. And so having an understanding of, hey, this is what we're trying to get to, this is what we have to beat, I think that part's been easy to pick up, but translating it in between offenses, that's where it gets difficult.
Like, how many languages can you speak, like football languages can you speak at this point?
Well, it depends. I guess you kind of go back to the origin of what offense it is, and a lot of it's like West Coast where words carry over, or whether you're in the digit system. Fortunately, I haven't been in the digit system for the routes where it's 787 or something like that, where you have concepts and you have words for those concepts. And it just kind of depends on which offensive coordinator you have and his preferences with what he wants to call them, families and things like that. But we'll have 11 guys out there, and we're going to either run the ball or pass the ball, so that's all I know.
At what point do you want to have that like continuity? Like you see, like, not to bring up somebody in the division, but Patrick Mahomes has been with the same play caller his entire career, and you see like how an offense can grow when you have that type of continuity year over year. Like, how much do you want that? Do you want this to be like the final time where you're going in April and you've got a brand new playbook?
Yeah, ideally that's the situation. It's unfortunate that hasn't been the case here, and all that I can do is to be the best quarterback, teammate, and leader that I can be. And it would be great that if we could win the Super Bowl every year and we could have all these great things. That's what we're working for, and that's why we're here right now, and that's what we're trying to do. And so I think it's been great for these guys to show up and to learn this offense. And 405 North, yeah, traffic's going to be bad, so I understand that. But no, it's awesome because we've got that opportunity now to work together and to make it something bigger than ourselves. And I think at the end of the day, that's the goal. But we'll keep fighting, and we got the guys in here to keep fighting, and especially the head coach that wants to make that happen. So I'm all for it.
How much, though, did what you went through at Oregon, because I think you had 3 head coaches your first 3 years, how much did those experience kind of help you now with the changing and the transition of everything you've had to go through?
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you go through it and you have experience and you've seen it before. You're familiar with it, and it's unfortunate that you'd lose a coach to another team, but that's what it is. It is what it is, and you have to keep moving forward. And nothing you can look back and wish you can change that. It doesn't work like that. And as long as you're moving forward and you learn from your mistakes and learn from where you went wrong, I think you're taking steps forward as an offense, as in a team. And so I think having a guy, especially like Troy Dye, who was with me at Oregon, he's familiar to it too. And he's one of those guys that you want in the locker room that can help guide that ship. And the more guys you have like that, I think it makes it easier for everyone.
We saw Coach Harbaugh call players up at the end of practice for a speech. You were up today. What was your message to your teammates as you head into camp?
Yeah, it was just to keep stacking days, to notice that we've put a great foundation for this offseason, to have all those guys show up. And, I understand it's their offseason. It's time to be away from the game and to really relax and get their bodies right. But to have the commitment and level of dedication that we had to this offseason program, I think that was awesome. I wanted to share that with them and talk about this next month being the most important month where we're away from the facility and where we're on our own, and to not give up what we've already put in, and to make sure that we're doing everything we can so that when fall camp comes around, we're ready to go. Because if we want to be the team that we want to be, it starts now, and it starts when we're on our own and having that level of loyalty and dedication and integrity to be able to carry that through.
Any specific stories with Coach Harbaugh where you wanted him to learn more about you personally that was important for the relationship? Because he talked about how he learned what kind of a leader you were very quickly. So did anything you say, hey, Coach, you need to know about this or anything?
That's a good question. Nothing that sticks out to me right now, but it's been an honor to play for him so far, to share that quarterback room with him. He's definitely a very intelligent, committed, and competitive guy. He truly wants to win whatever he's playing, whether it's the golf tournament, whether it's football quarterback competitions. He fully expects to win.
Justin, speaking of that, when you guys are after practice doing sleds or stuff like that, to look over, and Coach Harbaugh's doing that as well. Just what has that kind of been like for you?
Yeah, it's been really cool. It's a cool experience to be able to share that with your head coach. And kind of like I mentioned, he fully expects to win. So whether we're pulling sleds, he expects to be the fastest or to pull it the furthest. And when we're carrying those med balls, he's wanting to go the furthest. He wants to go the fastest. And to have a guy like that set the stage, set the standard, for these undrafted guys, for these rookies, to see that, I think they follow in his footsteps.
Did you beat him at the golf tournament?
I don't know exactly what he got. So I'll say it was a fun day. We had a lot of fun. So
Justin, just how has Coach Harbaugh gone about framing the offense to you? Because he and Greg have talked to us like very explicitly about the identity that they want to have. They want to be physical. They want to run the ball. When he's talking to you about it as the quarterback, as a former quarterback who played 14 seasons in the league, how is he framing it to you? How is he telling you that like, hey, this identity is going to benefit you as a quarterback?
yeah, I think it starts with your role as a quarterback, and for me, and for what they've told me is to get the ball to the playmakers, to get the ball outside and let those guys have a chance to go do something special, to be smart with the ball, to understand that completions, touchdowns, explosives, that's the goal, and to understand that if it's third down and there are times where the defense has us or where the ball security is a threat, understanding that punt is not the worst case scenario. Obviously, we want to have explosives, touchdowns, move the ball as best we can, and it's my job to put them in a position of that. So if I understand exactly what Greg wants with a certain call, to understand this is the look that we're wanting, it falls on my shoulders to be able to understand that and to keep moving forward with that.
That being said, you went right to 787. If that's attacking down the field, that's not 525, F swing. Is that your mentality? You want to be working the ball down the field as often as you can, or is that something that they're telling you now, like, we're going to try and take our shots?
Yeah, I mean, selfishly as a quarterback, I'd love to throw the ball every time, to understand that we could throw the ball downfield. But I do think that there is something into being able to do it all, to hold a defense accountable and understand that a run game starts a pass game, and having a good pass game opens up the run game. And so I think that complementary football that we always talk about, I think that's only going to help us as an offense.
How much more is on your plate from a run game perspective as far as getting into the right call at the line of scrimmage? Because you said it, like Greg's offenses are known for being like rather complex from a run game perspective. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, how much more is on your plate in that area?
I think that's the good thing about experience is each year a little bit more and more, and understanding the game and understanding their technique and assignments. I think you get a little bit better each year, and having a little bit more on your plate and pushing yourself, especially this offseason where thankfully we have a guy like Bose running the show at center. But if there is anything that we see as quarterbacks, we're able to go flip, make sure that we're in the right play. So I think just learning that from them and being able to do that on your own, I think is really helpful.
What about your role in the run game, Justin? How much, is that going to change? How much you run the ball moving forward? Do you suspect that's going to be part of this offense moving forward compared to what we've seen the last couple of years?
Personally, me running the ball?
You running the ball, yeah.
If they need me to run the ball, I'll run the ball. I'll obviously be smart about it and slide, get out of bounds, and not take my shots. But if it opens up the run game and I'm able to extend a play, get a first down conversion, I'll do whatever we need to do.
Just how much confidence do you have? Guys have talked about how they think this team could win and how close you guys were despite winning 5 games last year. Do you get that sense too that you guys are a team that can compete and contend this year?
Yeah, every year. That's one of those things, especially as a quarterback. We're right there, and it's been unfortunate that it hasn't gone our way. But there's no doubt in my mind that we got the right guys, we got the right staff. We just have to go out there and execute, and to have that understanding and to have that faith that we're going to get things right. That's what drives us, and that's why everyone's here. We believe in each other, we believe in this team, and we're really looking forward to the season.
How much does Jim give you, in his track record, give you the confidence that you guys can do what you're saying this year?
Yeah, I think it only helps. When you have a building like that of just people that believe in each other and what our vision is, what our program is, I think that's only going to help. And to share that with a locker room full of guys that believe in each other, believe in the program, believe in this offense and defense, special teams as well, I think it's only going to help.
Was there anything specifically that you worked on in the offseason?
I think it starts with picking up the offense. I think it starts with getting time with the receivers, learning this new offense, getting everything dialed in, and continuing to become a better teammate, quarterback, always working on your footwork, always working on your mechanics, the run game. There's so much that goes into it that you just try and work on whatever you can.
When you were at Oregon, you had one of the top facilities in college football. What do you think it'll be like moving into a new place? And, how much does it help having a new modern building?
Yeah, I'm really excited to see it. I haven't seen it yet. I've seen the renderings and the pictures. Went back a couple years ago for the groundbreaking ceremony, and I'm sure it's going to look a lot different than it did back then. But I'm excited. I think a lot of the guys are going tomorrow, but I'm assuming it'll be completed pretty soon, and really excited to see it.
What are your thoughts on Ben Herbert, the addition of him and his staff, and just kind of his program and how he's been running it so far?
He's incredible. I'm unaware if we're related or not. I don't think we are. But he's been awesome for that weight room, especially the level of command and attention to detail that he has. You know, it's been so great. And we talked about it in meetings yesterday. We watched the growth of all these guys over the past couple of months, where it's been a short amount of time, but we've seen so much work going and so many great results that I'm really looking forward to working with them as well.
And do you set individual goals each year? If so, have you done that? If so, what might those be?
I think it's more so of team goals. As long as we're doing our best every week, and you know, it starts with the first week. And you know, I think as a team and as a quarterback, you take it one step at a time. And right now, the most important thing was OTAs and picking up the offense. And now that we've completed with that, this next month is going to be, you know, make sure that your body's right, ready to go for a season long of football. And it starts with preseason, starts with camp, and then you'll work your way to the season. And you know, I think that's the most important thing.
One player we haven't asked you about, just how much of a jump have you seen from Quentin from last year as a rookie to now?
He's been incredible. He's one of those guys that I'm going to get the ball to as much as possible. He's athletically gifted. He's smart, and he's a competitor. And he wants to win. He wants to win. He wants to be the best. And he's on his way. And I'm excited to get him the ball. He's done such a great job this offseason, and just the way he's picked it up, the way he's attacked each day. Really looking forward to throwing him the ball.